Bob Carr, running for the 37th
Senate District.
37th Senate District, Michigan. Now you were here tonight. We were at a forum here in Alden, and you were here tonight without any. Are there any other Democratic candidates running for this?
I'm unopposed, and I'm running as a non-party candidate, really.
Oh, you're running as an independent?
No, I'm running as a Democrat.
You're running as a Democrat.
But I've also been a Republican.
Okay.
They didn't like the fact that my 5,000 beat $1 million and could never forgive me for winning an election primary for Congress without any money.
And that was the second?
That was the first congressional district in 1996. They're still trying to figure out how it's done. And we're doing the same thing. Our slogan is just this. It's not just about which political party, it's about serving our communities. And I mean it. And I have friends in both parties. And so people need to vote for people who will get things done, you know, and not always the same party, because we get born into parties. Some people don't know how to move around.
Now, given the political reality of the season, I mean, it's obvious that the Democrats are probably going to take a beating.
I don't think it's obvious at all. The Democrats are. Okay. I think it's obvious that if you have good candidates, the good candidates are going to win. We were talking tonight about the race I'm in.
Right.
I remember when George McManus was the state senator, and we were saying to a group of people, now who in the world wouldn't like George McManus? He'd been working with the farmers for 35 years. He was this folksy guy. I don't know if even some priest or some preacher or some famous, actor ran him, they could beat him, because that's just the kind of candidate he is or was, and people know me.
Fair enough. Now, do you think that you're going to? I mean, let's say you were to win this particular race, and
I think I am
in the general in November. Do you think you'd be joined by more? By looking at the tea leaves or looking at the way things are now, or at least the way things are portrayed now in the media, do you think you'd be joined by more people like yourself who are a little more independent-minded, or do you think you're going to see a wave of conservatism?
This district is the only one, this is why I ran for it, that has both the UP and Lower Michigan.
Which has both elements.
Yeah, that's right. And so everything they do down there in Lansing affects me.
Sure.
And everything I do affects them. Everything I do affects them. So it puts me in the leadership position. And by the way, I'm not going to be a party leader, but it does. And the locomotive sitting here in Alden, Michigan, is because I moved it. When the nuns needed it moved, I went down and got it. It's theirs forever, but we're keeping it up here, and it took us several years to take it from one place and get it over to the Alden Depot. What did that do? The next thing they did is they built a car behind it that people can sit on and have their picnics. And it's just a little thing, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And are they Republicans or Democrats? I never asked.
They're probably a little of both, aren't they?
Probably a little of both.
All right. Well, how far would the district extend, the 37th, into the UP?
It's a wonderful district. The other day we traveled from Mackinac Island, which is my home, to Charlevoix, down to Traverse City, up to Sault Ste. Marie, had a forum up there, spent time with the sportsmen that were there, and then got back home. And so it's 8 counties, and we enjoy driving it, and we go on the back roads, and I've been doing it all my life. I was in 6 parades on July 4th. The other candidates are still talking about the 4. Well, if they knew the district and had projects all over the district, they could have done 6.
Obviously, Michigan's got a budget that's still not reconciled.
That's right.
Do you think they will come up with a suitable solution before it's too late?
We're having fun. We just produced yard signs. They'll hold up. They're better than anybody else's. They start out at $3.50 a piece. Most likely 6, 50 cents a piece. Well, how can that be? Because I know how to do it. And I run this campaign. The guy's going to spend $1 million against me. So far, let's see, we've put together our money. We quit our jobs. My wife is a school teacher, and she's campaigning full time. And we're buying gas.
And speaking of your wife, during the forum, you mentioned that she'd be going down and doing volunteer, essentially, in Lansing if you were elected.
Around there, yeah, sure. Okay. She has this We went out for a year to California to take care of my high school, which really was my parents, because I didn't have parents. It was in trouble. So she got a job teaching in a school, and all these little kids, and they were migrant workers who didn't speak any English. And her kids learned English so fast. And so the state of California always thought you had to have bilingual teachers. Karen didn't know anything. She used illustration. They ended up having her go spend the summer teaching other teachers how to do this. And so she fell in love in inspiring other teachers. And so she's really looking forward to going into schools and seeing what they're doing, taking ideas back here, and working with schools here, working with teachers, teaching them. She's a reading specialist as well as an art specialist. And those two things, kids got to learn how to read, but they love to do art.
Is there any one, in closing, I think, is there any one thing about you that you think would give you an edge over any of your opposition
I have done
candidates?
projects all over this district as a historic preservationist and community developer. When I say, specialist. And I will do it overnight. I'm the 11th hour man. Or it will take us 15 years. I donated 2 railroad cars to Brimley, Michigan, 15 years ago. We're starting to build a depot in the next 2 weeks. It took us 15 years to raise the money. Once that depot is done, it becomes a museum. Shekels start moving around. It's called tourism and all those kind of things. And when I was up there 2 days ago, I went into the hardware store and I found out that the lady that has it now is about 40. Her dad just died 3 weeks ago. What's that big building across the street from the depot? That's the old granary. My family owns it. It is full of old equipment. It would be a great museum. And we need some help. I said, get me elected. We'll find the help.
All right. Do you have a website?
My website is bobcarr.org. And I write on it every 2 or 3 days about the fantastic experience we're having. So you read every 2 or 3 days and you're going to go for a real ride. And by the way, this is a wonderful district and wonderful people. And we're going upward. We're not going backwards.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.